Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Gone in 60 here. Thanks for tuning in today. I want to cover something that I'm really excited about. It is the reason you should buy a car out of state, and if you should drive the car home, or if you should ship it to you. So gonna cover where you guys can kind of find the best deals at in terms of Dodge Challengers, particularly the Scat Pack model across the country, and the experience I had when I bought my car and when I brought it home. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and hope you guys like today's video. So, as many of you know, I bought my Challenger Scat Pack at the end of 2019. I bought it just right before Christmas time. It was about a week before Christmas. And I bought it from Baxter Dodge in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I contemplated for like several days, like nonstop, hey, should I fly out there, spend the money, drive the car home, or should I just pay to have it shipped? So, and I love this topic because I had probably the coolest experience of my life in doing this. And before I jump into that, I just want to cover, I am constantly looking for Dodge Challengers out in the market. You know, I just want to confirm I got a good deal on my car. I'm also curious, you know, I love the shaker package in these cars, so I'm always seeing if I can get a good deal on one that has the shaker package, because that is the only thing I didn't get in my Challenger Scat Pack that I wish I would have. So I do keep an eye out for deals across the country, and I've noticed a consistent pattern. If I look here in Utah for a Dodge Challenger Scat Pack, there is no way I am paying anything under $36,000, $37,000 for the car. That's before taxes, fees, dock fees, everything like that. But what I've known and what I've noticed is in the central part of the country, Nebraska, kind of eastward, you can actually get a lot of good deals. Oklahoma has great deals on them. Virginia, Kentucky, and just a few of the other states. I've seen a couple in Florida. But as you look like in California, as you look in Arizona, even if you look in Texas, I'm not joking, I look every single night for deals in Dodge Challenger Scat Packs, and the best deals are back east. Now, there might be incentives that based on where you live, you qualify for them or not. But at the end of the day, that's just something that I just wanted to throw out there, that if you guys are shopping for those cars, that's where I've seen the best deals is back east. So jumping in to today's topic of should you drive your car home or should you ship it? And my preference is to drive the car home. But before I do that, let me talk to you about my experience in looking into shipping my car. So no matter where you're shipping the car from, there's a few things to consider. Number one, where is the location of the dealership? Where mine was in Lincoln, Nebraska, they had a hard time finding drivers that were going through that route all the way back to Utah. And so it didn't really leave me with some fast delivery times. You know, I had several that kind of the week before Christmas are like, hey, it's going to be well after a week, the week after Christmas when we could deliver it to you. So like almost a week and a half by the time they could pick it up, drive it. And I've never bought a new car before. And just the thought of leaving my car at somebody's house or in an empty parking lot or just anywhere like that, it just didn't leave me with a good feeling. So that's nothing to do with the shipper's fault. That's just the reality of when I was buying the car. But as it pertains to just shipping it in general, there's a lot of different companies you can reach out to, and they're all brokers. And I remember filling out a request at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I'm not joking you, my phone by 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning was blowing up with texts, with phone calls, with emails. I added them up for you guys, and I had 23 companies reach out to me. 23 in the span of 2 days. And most of those guys called me for weeks, days, months. I mean, they were relentless. So before you guys decide that you want to ship your car, just make sure that's what you want to do, because when you do reach out to some of these third-party shipping companies, they're going to be all over you, which is totally fine. So the cost that they were projecting to bring my Challenger from Lincoln all the way to Utah was right around $600-700. I want to let you know right now, all of the quotes vary dramatically, and the first price that they give you is not the final price. It's just a price to kind of lure you in. There are other things that they add into the price of the quotes. So just make sure when you do see those quotes, just don't go for the lowest one. Do your research on the company and really make sure that you guys are comfortable in what you're doing. But, you know, I saw anywhere from $400 to $900. You know, I actually would prefer, if I were to ship a car, to have it enclosed. I want all of you to do me a favor. Next time you're on the freeway and you see a huge semi carrying tons of cars on it, look how clean those cars are that semi truck is towing. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The thing that made me nervous is just person loading my car. It's a manual transmission. I know they do it every day, but it is not their car. It is my car. And, you know, semis, they just, I don't know, they're just huge vehicles. They kick up a lot of stuff, like, especially in the wintertime. Look at one of those cars and just look at the dirt, the mud, you name it, just kicked all over those cars. And I just didn't want to risk that. And so I wanted to look into getting an enclosed option, and an enclosed option was a lot. It was like $1,200 up to $2,000, and at that point it just didn't make sense. Another thing that I would take into consideration when you are shipping your car is the insurance. You think because you're shipping your car that it's just protected. Hey, we have insurance, great. Well, from my understanding, and if I'm wrong on this, somebody please let me know, but from my understanding, what that does is it protects you in case the driver gets into an accident somehow. But from what I understood, if a rock flips up, chips your paint, hits your windshield, if a stick flips up and hits your car, it does not cover those things. Most of the companies, when you're asking them, make sure and dive into the specifics of what their insurance would actually cover on your car. And that's a big one. I did find one company that they did have something that covered damage to like your windshield or your paint or rock chips. If I can find who they are, I will leave a link in the description, because they were the company that I was closest to going with, and I think their quote was $700. So, you know, I think shipping can be a good option. You know, I would ship a car, but honestly, the experience I had in driving my new car home is one that I will never forget. And I know it sounds really emotional. I know it sounds like, oh, so dramatic. But for me, this was such a big deal, buying a new car. And to be able to have that experience in driving at home, I wouldn't change it for anything. So I flew out there. And it was actually pretty crazy timing. I'd actually just put in my 2 weeks notice at my job and took a new job. And, you know, that was really hard. Some of the things I had to go through and had to deal with that. So this was like just amazing. It was something I was looking forward to. It was something that allowed me to get away from the stress of the world and everything else that was happening in my life at that time. And so bought a plane ticket. I just went by myself, and honestly, doing it again, I probably would go by myself or maybe have my wife come. But just being able to be just on the road by yourself in a new car. I even made a playlist of, you know, what song will be the first song that I break my speakers into, and Running Down a Dream, Tom Petty, that was a song. But it was such an experience that just I'll never forget. Between flying out there and driving the car back, I was right around $600, and I actually added that into the price of the loan because I got such a good deal on the car. So I just didn't want to pay any more money coming out of pocket, because I knew I had to pay for the taxes here in Utah. And that's something too, is wherever you guys buy the car from, I don't care who you talk to, you need to pay your taxes in the state that you live in. You will not pay taxes through the dealership unless they handle them for you for the state in which you buy it from. But most dealerships that I've talked to, you'll pay for them here in the state where you live. I did have one dealership tell me I was wrong in that, and I'm pretty confident they were wrong. So, I flew out there, went and I saw the car in person, and I'll just never forget that feeling of just seeing that car for the first time, just seeing the rims. I did have the dealership detail the car again, just because I felt, it could have been a little bit cleaner. And I was nervous because the car was sitting on a showroom floor. So I was nervous. Hey, his kids leaned up on it. So I just wanted to make sure. And something to keep in mind, guys, I am overly picky. I am overly anal. So I realize this does not apply to most of you. But just because you're buying a new car, it does not mean that car looks brand new. My wife and I, we bought a van, as you guys maybe have seen on the channel, or, me doing some product reviews. And I noticed like a couple spots where they had paint chips on the car. And a brand new car should not have that. I'm sorry, if you're paying all of that money, that car should be close to as just factory new condition as possible. And when I came up to my car, I did notice a couple things, but in detail, it came right off, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I think being able to inspect your car in person is very beneficial. And lastly, if you're buying your car out of state, have them ship the paperwork to you before you even go out there. So that way you can see if any gotchas that they have in the contract. So when I went out to pick up my car, I knew exactly the price of the car. I knew exactly all the fees and everything that they're trying to charge, and I just knew it. Give you an example. When we bought my wife's van, my wife wanted to go and kind of have a similar experience to what I did, and I kind of let her run with it, and she did a great job. However, the dealership automatically charged a fee for anti-protection, and they charged oil changes as part of the package. So I'm basically financing like $600 worth of stuff for the life of the loan, which I did not want to do. And we asked them before we even went down there, hey, what are your fees? Detail them out for us. And they didn't talk about those. So you got to be careful. These dealerships, you're not there to make friends with them. You're not there to, you kind of have to go in there thinking, what are they going to try and pull over me? Because honestly, a lot of them do. A lot of the prices you see online, they exclude the destination charge, meaning the charge it cost to ship the car from Detroit to wherever that dealership is. And most of the time, I think for these, they're around $1,400 to $1,900. So if you see a good deal online, just don't think that's what it is. I've gone onto cars.com, then gone on the company's website, and the prices aren't the same. So anyways, I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but I just want you guys to be fully informed on when you're buying a car out of state and what that looks like. But get that paperwork shipped to you, so when you fly out there, all you have to do is give them the paperwork, inspect the car, make sure it's good to go, and be out of there. And like I said, I drove from Lincoln, Nebraska to Cheyenne, Wyoming. The trip in total was about 9 hours. It was really hard to keep the car kind of during its break-in period, keeping it under the speed limit, but I was able to do so. And it was at night. I called my family, I talked to my brother, talked to my dad driving it home, and just that experience of doing it by myself, it was amazing. I mean, I could tell you at every restaurant I ate at on my way back, but to me, that's a trip that you'll remember. That's something that you'll remember. So I am pro flying out and buying your car unless the circumstances don't allow it. If I were just buying a car to maybe flip it or sell it, I would not drive out there or fly out there to go drive it home. But if you've saved up your hard-earned money to go buy a car, and especially if it's used, if y'all are buying used cars out of state and you're not inspecting them in person, your standards aren't very high, or you just have way too much trust. But if you're buying new, if you're buying used, if you've saved up your hard-earned money to be able to buy something like this, make sure and inspect the car, make sure and do your homework that you know what you're getting into. And me, I was just loving life, man. I was just driving across the country, just enjoying my car. I didn't run into any snow on the way back that was on the ground. It did snow a little bit as I was leaving Wyoming, but nothing stuck to the ground. Did race a Ford Power Stroke on my way home. The miles, I had about 600 miles on the car at the time, but had fun beating that. But guys, have an experience like that. We all work way too hard to not be able to have just what you want and to be able to enjoy it and have that kind of an experience in your lifetime. So anyways, guys, that's kind of my thoughts on buying at a dealership out of state versus shipping your car. I think either option could work, but for me, if you want to have that experience, if you want to have that security, if you want to have that comfort, in what you're buying, I'd fly out there and pick up your car. And honestly, the costs, they're about the same. So anyways, guys, thanks for following the channel. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. We've just hit 500 subscribers. We're on our way to 1,000. Ring the notification bell. That way you guys don't miss out on any of my future videos. And thanks, guys, for watching. And we'll catch you next time.